Well, I hope your Thanksgiving was fantastic, but your Black Friday was straight cheeks as the Eagles get busted up by the Bears today, 24-15. The word that just comes to mind is just embarrassing. Embarrassed on offense to the point where you just barely managed 15 points in this game, including a missed PAT, including that missed long field goal at the end of the game, a fumble on a tush push on your own or the Bears' 12-yard line. And the Eagles just look terrible. Defensively, getting blown off the ball to the tune of 281 rushing yards by the Chicago Bears, and it was all run game for them for the most part. When you look at Caleb Williams' performance today, you're talking for the majority of this game, just 11 completions despite about 36 attempts at one point in this game. The Eagles get blown off the field, their own field, Lincoln Financial Field, on this Black Friday. And to say the least, Seth Joyner and Derek Gunn, a very dark night for Eagles fans in South Philadelphia. Seth, time and time again, watching this game with you, the number one thing you were talking about throughout this game, the inability for the Eagles' defensive line to win individual battles and get off blocks, and that led to 281 yards on the ground.
I'm going to let D-Gun go first. I got ice water here.
That is water, by the way, for the record. That is water.
See, the thing that gets to me is you allowed this Chicago team, which is not a prolific team on either side of the ball, come here on national TV when you're reeling from an embarrassing loss just 5 days ago down in Dallas. And you let a Bears team that, yes, has played well, but it's not one of these so-called elite teams, come in here and run up and down your backsides for 60 minutes. They didn't have to throw the football. My goodness, they ran 85 plays. 85 plays in this game. They ran for almost 300 yards up and down your backs. They did whatever they wanted. They were never stressed. You never had them in jeopardy. You had 3 points, 3 stinking points at home against another, just like Dallas's defense. A defense ranked in the 20s in just about every statistical category you can think of. You scored 3 points on them for most of this game. They've averaged 15 points a game the last 3 games. They scored 15 points in this game. I don't even count the last touchdown. That's an insignificant touchdown. They scored 9 meaningful points against a Chicago Bears defense, which is not that great. But the Bears came to here, owned the line of scrimmage on both sides of the football, and put their cleats up your backside. I'm sitting here flabbergasted. I thought this Eagles team would come out and fight after the way they lost their game in Dallas. They pumped out from the opening kickoffs, plain and simple. Mr. Joyner, the floor is yours because I know you got a lot more to say than I do, and I'm just getting started.
To be honest with you, I don't even know where to start. I don't know where to start. I mean, this is disappointing in the biggest of ways. And quite frankly, I'm sick and tired of fans, talking about how our takes on this team and, D-Gun making stuff up and, Seth being a hater. I don't care because you know what we do here is we call a spade and we call it the truth, okay? Offensively, I said last week that, and I said in the pregame show, I said this team is different from the 2023 team because of Vic Fangio's defense and the talent that we have compiled on the offensive side of the ball. But I'm here to tell you right now, this team looks eerily similar. Now, the collapse won't be to the level of 2023, but the Eagles they're going to make the playoffs, and they're going to lose in the first round of the playoffs. I'm telling you that right now because this team is too flawed. And the biggest issue is that Nick Sirianni has no answer, okay? When I see him on the sideline, pacing up and down the sideline with this befuddled look on his face, and you see the guy on the other side of Ben Johnson with his play call sheet in his face, just dialing up, these exotic run plays, okay, to dominate our defense. Coaching matters. I don't care how much talent you have, coaching matters. And I heard Nick Sirianni say he had no answer in 2023. And guess what, folks? He ain't got no answer right now. And he talked last week about messaging. What's the message I'm going to give my players? Well, we got to cut down on the penalties. I'd be damned if they didn't have, how many penalties did they have again, D-Gun?
I think seven.
Seven penalties, okay? And the majority of them, holes and pre-snap on the offense that continues to put them in a hole, okay? Now, let's deal with who and what they are offensively. They are basic. There's no getting around it. They're non-complex. And they're not nearly as good as they were on the offensive line, okay? Tyler Steen ain't the answer. He plays half the time, and the other half of the time, he's looking around trying to see what's going on behind him, okay? I understand they got some injuries, but when you can't run the football because you don't block people, Dallas Goedert, what we always said, Dallas Goedert, he's a great pass catcher and he's a great blocker. I've seen him get destroyed, okay? Destroyed, and then Saquon gets tackled for a loss, but we want to put Tank Bigsby in because we think Tank Bigsby is going to do a better job than Saquon. If he ain't got no damn way to run, where's Saquon supposed to run when guys don't block? They're like a comedy of errors because what they do is one player makes a mistake one play, another player makes a mistake the next play, another player makes a mistake the next play, and then Jalen. You guys know that I'm a Jalen Hurts fan. But there comes a point in time as an analyst, no matter how much you like a guy, you just got to be honest about it. You have to be honest about it. Jalen Hurts is not playing good football. He hasn't played good football damn near all this year. There are guys that are open, and I get it. And you guys have heard me say, if his progression is right to left, okay, he might not get back to the middle of the field or the guys on the right side of the field. But how many times you got guys wide open and you don't know that the guys are wide open? If you understand the numbers, then you can understand that if I got too many guys over here, that means that somebody's got to be open over here. The great quarterbacks do that. The great quarterbacks can see the entire field instead of just getting locked in on one guy, okay? Now let's get over to the defensive side of the ball because this was the most disappointing of the entire day. At some point in time as a man, you got to make up your mind that I'm not going to get my ass kicked not one more damn play. They allowed the air asses to get kicked for 60 damn minutes, 281 yards, and you never figured it out? That falls on Jalen Carter, Jordan Davis, Bryant, and Ojomo. And the linebackers not knowing where they're supposed to fit. It makes no sense to me because I'm watching them. They're locking people out, and they're just dancing with them. Get off the goddamn block and go and make a play. Get off the block. You mean to tell me you're just going to lock out on the guy and watch the guy run right by you? Get off the block. If you're doing the hard part, which is locking out, shed the blocker, so now you're standing there ready to make a play. And linebackers, where you at? You're sitting back there looking, trying to figure out where the ball's going, and next thing you know, you got somebody in your chest. Do you not know when the flow goes right or left, what gap you're responsible for? Get your ass up in the gap. Where's the discipline on the edges? You got guys with the wrong foot up, break and contain. Jalen Hunt played a great game. He lost contain 3 different times that caused 3 different first downs. When you're the end guy on the line of scrimmage, you are the contain guy, okay? Can we please get our guys to line up with their inside foot up, the outside foot back, so that they can play down the line and contain the ball, not go running trying to make a play that's not yours to make. It happened to Jalen Phillips. It happened to Nolan Smith. It happened to Jalen Hunt multiple times. And then you wonder why this defense struggles, because they are fundamentally unsound, okay? Fundamentally unsound. You can't put Reed Blankenship in coverage because he can't cover anybody. I'm sorry. The facts are the facts. You want me to lie to you? You want me to tell you the truth, okay? Adoree Jackson won't tackle nobody. Reed Blankenship can't cover nobody. And then at the other end of the spectrum, you get Sidney Brown out there. He's out there running into my corner, knocking my corner off tackles. This team today, D-Gun, they look like they didn't even practice last week. Like, where's your pride? Mm-hmm. You let them come into your house, okay, and stomp all over you in your house, and you never had an answer for it all day. Somebody along the line, somebody has got to step up and say, enough.
I don't think they have that person in-house. to be honest with you. I don't think they have a player that has the voice to say that. You look at the good teams around the league, they have that one or two definitive player or players that, like that old commercial when E.F. Hutton talks, people listen. I don't think the Eagles have that in-house. Now, we talked about Brandon Graham coming back and providing a voice of reason, maturity, stability. I don't even know if Brandon Graham has that voice right now with this particular team, to be honest with you.
Well, listen, it's
obviously the quarterback doesn't.
D-Gun, it's hard to lead if you're not out there on the field.
I get that. I get that.
Okay? So if you're not out there producing, somebody can talk to you all they want to, okay? But leaders collect followers. And I'm not following somebody that's not setting an example by what they do. Your words mean nothing to me. What means something to me is the production that I see. And who's playing lights out that he can have a voice on that defense where everybody else will follow?
Nobody.
Nobody.
But see, players of today are enamored by two things. One, money. Number two, glitz, which is the ring. They're hypnotized by those two things in the NFL today. And you have enough players who have been around the block for a few times and have a couple of rings or at least one ring that should be able to get the ears of somebody. But the way they've played the last several games, and I understand that the Chicago Bears had the ball for almost 40 minutes in this game. You know why? Because they were 10 of 17 on third downs, okay? If they get off the field, they wouldn't have been gassed. There's 2 games in a row they've been gassed because they can't get off the field. That's not a Vic Fangio defense. What is going on with this Vic Fangio defense?
But it's a convergence of things because as bad as the defense is on the other side, okay, now, check this out. Not only were they 10 to 17 on third down, but they gave up 28 first downs in this game.
Yes.
28.
Yep.
Okay? At the other end of the spectrum, the Eagles are 4 of 11. They don't possess the ball long enough, D-Gun, in order for there to be any balance. 3 and outs. I mean, this is an ongoing issue with this Philadelphia Eagles offense. Okay, they get halfway decent yards on first down. Then on second down, they run it, and then they turn around and they got a 3rd and 3 or 3rd and 4. I can't tell you how many times they had 3rd and 4, 3rd and 3 situations, and they couldn't convert, and they wound up having to punt the damn ball. Okay, first series of the game, they go 5 plays, punt. Then they go 7 plays, 39 yards, they get a field goal. Then they go 3 plays, punt. 3 plays, punt. Come out after the halftime. 3 plays, punt. 2 plays, punt. Interception, rather. Okay? How's the defense supposed to? There's no equilibrium here. Because what's happening is the offense is not possessing the ball enough. And when the defense is on the field, a game like today, they can't stop the run. So if you can't stop the run, then that means the other team's just going to pile up the first downs. So it's a convergence of the defense not playing good enough, the offense not playing good enough, it makes no sense to me. You know, and the thing that's so scary about this is that Nick Sirianni stood up in his press conference and they talked about working through it, the messaging that I give to the players, and you turn around. The first series, they got a penalty.
That's right.
The first series.
That's right.
The first series, they got a penalty. Like, that's the thing that you had 14 last week. So you got to try to figure out, okay, how can I at least get through the first couple of series without a penalty? Right out the gate, they get 5 yards on first down. They get a damn holding penalty or illegal procedure penalty. Yeah. Next thing you know, it's 2nd and 10 all over again.
False start, A.J. Brown.
False start, yeah.
It makes no sense to me.
So of the many problems we just reeled out there, one of the things we're going to hear probably from Nick Sirianni at his post-game press conference is, again, we're not into assigning blame, we're into finding solutions. Well, here we are again, searching heavily for a solution. And as something that you said earlier, Derek Gunn, Jeffrey Lurie's in the owner's box. He's watching his team play on national TV. He's watching them play on Black Friday. They have the NFL world to themselves. And they allow the Chicago Bears not only have a phenomenal run game on the defensive side of things, but offensively, you put up the fewest points going into one of those final drives there up against the Chicago Bears all season long. There's already been plenty conversation about making some kind of change on the coaching staff. Play caller, obviously, offensive, the number one thing people talk about. Will somebody's head roll after an embarrassing performance like this? And having a little bit more of an extended break here where you play on Friday tonight and then you don't play till Monday night in Los Angeles. Will there be some kind of change made on this Eagles team?
I don't know how much. What can you do? Who are you going to elevate from within?
When has that ever mattered?
I know. Well, who are you going to elevate from within? You know, people keep screaming, "Fire Kevin Patullo." Okay, he's part of the problem, but as just as big or a bigger problem is execution. The offensive line can't block anybody. The running back has nowhere to run. Your quarterback still is not properly going through his progressions to read. You got players dropping balls. Late in the game, Saquon drops the ball wide open in the flats. Jalen's throwing the ball behind Devontae wide open in the slot. And Dallas Goedert's running down the field with a flag and saying, hey, I'm wide open. Nobody's within a 10-yard radius of him. So this is more than just Kevin Patullo. This is a bigger problem than just a guy calling plays. It's the execution of these multimillionaires, man. Mm-hmm. They're not doing it. For whatever reason, they're not doing it. I mean, let's go back to the last 4 games. They were lucky to beat Green Bay. They were lucky to beat Detroit. They caught up to them in Dallas, and they caught up to them again 5 days later. We've been talking about this for much of the season. You look at all the games that they won except the Giants game. Those games could have flipped so easy and been in the opposition's favor. We could have been sitting here talking about a team with a losing record instead of a winning record. They found a way to win most of those games. But now it's starting to become even more enlightened in terms of the problems of this team. And, we talk about the words, you got to have a want to. Mm-hmm. They pulled a want not today. They want not. I don't know if they were suffering from Thanksgiving dinner hangovers or what. But to come out here and let Chicago dominate you and dictate the action from the opening kickoff was pathetic.
So there's no
Flat
change.
out pathetic.
But there's no change.
I don't know. I don't know. The only change I can see coming, the only thing I can see coming is Nick Sirianni taking over play calling to appease a lot of people. I don't know if that's in the best interest of the team to have Sirianni play calling, to be honest. You might be able to bring an advisor in to look from afar at what your problems are offensively and give suggestions. But executing on the field the way we've seen for the last 3-4 games?
You can call somebody to advise. Send them the film. Advise us what you see. I can advise them and tell them what I see. They stink. Plain and simple, man. I mean, listen, it does. See, the issue is, and we keep talking about, they are who they are. There's no change.
No.
There's no change coming. There's no change coming on the defense. Nobody's coming to save them, and nobody's coming to save them on the defense or the offense, okay? This is Nick Sirianni's team. And Nick Sirianni keeps talking about the messaging. The messaging is not getting through. Because what I really fear on the offensive side of the ball, that the players have lost confidence not only in the offense and what they're trying to do and what they're being asked to do, but in a lot of ways, I think the wide receivers are losing confidence in Jalen Hurts to actually deliver them the ball. Ooh. Because when I'm looking at wide receivers running down the field, okay, he throws the ball to Saquon Barkley in the flat. Saquon ain't even looking at him. Mm-hmm. Like, you looking at the guy. If he ain't looking at you, don't throw it to him.
First play out of half, by the way.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Then all of a sudden, Jahan Dotson is running the route. He ain't even looking back for the ball, and Jalen Hurts is throwing it at him.
I don't want to mess with your thought. Let me ask you this. Okay, you talk about the play Saquon where the ball hits him in the chest and he wasn't looking. They run that play all year. Why is Saquon not looking for the ball? It's a timing route. Why is he not looking for the ball? For Jahan Dotson, it's a timing route. Why is he not looking for the ball?
It's a 1 yard route. Don't even throw the ball to that route.
But he had
my whole thing. You know how many third down plays they had where Jalen threw the ball short of the sticks?
Yeah.
And I know everybody say, "Oh, he threw the interception trying to push." You had to push the ball down the field. If you need 12 yards for a first down, there's no use of you throwing it 5-6 yards, okay? And you're going to tell me that the players aren't frustrated by that? The ball he throws to A.J. Brown is 3rd and 8. A.J.'s running across the field at 5 yards. He needs 3 more for the first down. Jalen throws him the ball. They make the tackle off the field. Why are you even running the route at 5 yards?
Wait, did you just say players are frustrated?
Oh.
Did you just say that?
Are you asking for it, Gunner?
No, I'm just asking.
I think you're asking for the smoke.
Hey, this is America. I can ask what I want to ask.
What I want you to do, okay, when you get to this level, okay, there's supposed to be a little bit of a joy in what you do. That's the first thing. The first thing is it takes energy and enthusiasm to play this game, okay? When they pan down the sideline and they show me the faces of A.J. Brown, guys on the offensive line, they show me the faces of Devontae Smith. And I was about to say Jalen, but he looks stoic all the damn time. Like, there's no joy on that sideline. There's no excitement on that sideline. Players make plays. The only time that somebody gets up and shows any kind of enthusiasm or excitement is when A.J. Brown scores a touchdown and he's doing his little jig. That's the only time. The rest of the time, nobody's playing with any enthusiasm whatsoever. This is a game of emotion, and they are playing emotionless. So that speaks to a lot of different things. Players not believing in what's being called, players not believing in each other, the head coach not necessarily giving the message that's being received. Because as a coach, you can talk all you want. But if your players ain't hearing you and they keep going out making the same mistakes over and over and over and over again, I've been in those meetings before where the coach is standing up there and guys are in the back rolling their eyes. Oh, here we go again. Coach with the same old BS all over again. You think that you think that these players aren't experiencing some of this? They are. Because they're tired of Nick telling them the same thing and there's no change. Why? Because, listen, we talked about it in the pregame. What Ben Johnson is an in-your-face type of coach. Like, Ben Johnson ain't going to stand for the kind of nonsense that we see going on this roster. They had a media guy that was on with WIP that talked about it earlier. He said that Ben Johnson is an accountability guy. He will get in guys' face. He will call guys out. Oh, we can't do that with the Eagles. Why? Oh, we throwing players under the bus. We don't want to do it that way. Well, maybe you need to call some damn body out. Maybe you need to point the finger at somebody. Maybe you need to make somebody an example so that guys realize that, you know what, just because you're on the roster don't mean that you stay on the roster. See, that's kind of the problem with where the structure of the NFL is now. Because with the salary cap and guys already on the roster and the veteran salary, the guaranteed money, well, guess what? You stuck with a guy 9 times out of 10 once he's on your roster. Back in the day, you weren't playing, they get your ass up out of here. They would give you a chance to write it. But these players, sometimes you look at their emotion and the way that they play, it's almost like they don't give a damn. It's like, oh, well, I'm going to the window tomorrow and pick up my $1 million check. I don't give a damn. Come on, man. Are you really playing this game because you love the game or you just going through the motions? You know? You got a chance to do something that very few teams have a chance to do, to get back to another Super Bowl. And you mean to tell me that's the effort you give? The offensive linemen don't fight. They do not fight. They will lay on the block and let the guy go, and that's the same guy that goes and makes the play. Okay? Football is a game of will. It's a game of fight. It's a game of ego on ego, manhood on manhood. And you're going to sit there and let a guy just beat you like a war drum all day long and you don't even care? You don't fight back? That makes no sense to me. So what is it that motivates this team? You know? What is it that Nick can say to this team that motivates them in a way that they go out and fight? Because they're not fighting. I don't know if he can say anything else. We've heard him talk week in and week out about, we know what we need to address and we know what we need. Why haven't we seen it? Why haven't we seen it? I mean, with the personnel you have one of the deepest rosters in the National Football League. You have one of the most expensive rosters in the National Football League. So why haven't we seen it? Why is it getting worse instead of better? You know, you're in a stretch run now. You've turned that final turn. You're heading for the home stretch now. You're jockeying for positions. Just a couple of weeks ago, you were the number 1 seed in the NFC. Now you're the number 3 seed and dropping on the hit parade.
With Dallas heating up.
With Dallas right now is only like a game and a half behind you. They were 3 games behind you a few weeks. They're a game and a half behind you. And in a span of 5 days, Dallas has beaten the last 2 Super Bowl champions.
And I'm gonna say this, and people can take it however the hell they want to take it. Okay? The Dallas Cowboys right now are a better football team than the Philadelphia Eagles.
I agree.
And the Eagles better be glad that they got that win early in the season, because if they had to play them twice in the latter part of the season, there's a snowball's chance in hell they beat them twice.
I agree.
Okay? And they better wake the hell up, Because if they don't wake up, Dallas going to mess around and catch them and win the damn division, and they're going to be a damn 5 or 6 or 7 seed. That's where it's headed.
I'm gonna tell you right now. You can mark this down. You can record it. You can do it, chart whatever you want. Eagles' next game is in about Mark's writing it down right now.
Mm-hmm.
I'm picking the Chargers next Monday night. I'm picking the Chargers right now. Chargers at home against this Eagles team right now. I'm picking the Chargers at home.
Well, if your read is correct,
right
and the Eagles don't change anything on this team,
right,
play caller, whatever,
right.
then yeah, I would tend to agree with you on that. Now, unfortunately, for the second week in a row, we got to go on the other side of the football here, not with the Eagles, but with the opponent. This time it's the Chicago Bears for not just the player, but players to bank on. And that obviously would go to the running back tandem of the Chicago Bears, Kyle Monungai and DeAndre Swift. DeAndre Swift, of course, a familiar face going off in this game. Goodness gracious, 130 yards from Monungai and a touchdown. DeAndre Swift, 125 yards and a touchdown as well on this Eagles defense. When we come back, we'll break that down even further. We'll also go into the chat and social media. Bailey Livesey standing by when it comes to monitoring the chat and social media. Let us know what you guys are talking about. All that and more when we return on the Verizon postgame show.
For an elf, the holidays are strong.
There's a number on the screen.
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 There is a number on the screen.
There's a number on the screen.
There's a number on the screen. There's a number on the screen.
Since 1893, Weber Display and Packaging has been Pennsylvania's leading manufacturer of corrugated packaging and displays. We're family owned with 4 Philadelphia locations, 2 converting facilities, a warehouse, and a fulfillment center. Designed through delivery, we exceed customer needs. Weber Display and Packaging. Our core values drive everything we do. Come join our team.
This upcoming segment is brought to you by Verizon. Once again, you've heard our take on the game. Now we're going to hear from Bailey Livesey, who has been monitoring the chat as well as social media to let us know what everyone is talking about. Bailey, I know it's not the best of subjects, but what are the people breaking down?
You got it, Mark. I wish I could be here with more positive questions, but here we are. There is a lot of chatter about Tank Bigsby. In your opinion, is it time to put him in and see what he can bring to this offense?
I'm quite frankly shocked, guys. I don't know about you, but I'm shocked that a guy can go off for, but have an 8-9 yard run early in the game against the Cowboys, and then you never see him again. And tonight you don't see him at all. He has done very well for the Philadelphia Eagles in the limited amount of time that you have seen him. If he's working, and the other guy, no matter how great a year he had last year, and don't get me wrong, Saquon, obviously historic, but if you're really trying everything here to right the ship, how come you're not seeing a guy that has run the ball, though limited, very well out of the backfield?
Can I let me put this whole Tank Bigsby thing to rest for people, because it really is a point of contention that's built out of ignorance, okay? So Saquon Barkley and Tank Bigsby both had 100 yards against the Giants the second game, right? Game was already won. They gave Tank some runs. Tank had 9 carries for like 104 yards, okay? In mop-up time. That wasn't in real time, mop-up time. And sporadically since then, they've sprinkled them here or there. He had a couple of third down runs, long third down runs that he converted, 3rd and 13, 3rd and 14, took off and ran. Understand this. When you're the backup quarterback to the guy that just brutalized the entire National Football League the year before to the tune of 2,005 yards, what you see defensively is completely different than what Saquon Barkley is going to see, okay? So when you get mop-up duty and you get third down runs where teams are thinking you might throw the football, that's markedly different than what you're going to see on first and second down if you're the main guy, okay? So he is not seeing what Saquon Barkley is going to see. So, yeah, he got some yards, but let's just be honest with ourselves. We didn't pay Saquon Barkley $20 million to play Tank freaking Bigsby. Stop with this nonsense. Saquon Barkley is going to be the feature back on this team because he makes more money than Tank Bigsby. okay? And Tank Bigsby ain't coming to save this team with this offensive line blocking the way that it's blocking. He had a couple of really good runs. Yeah, his per carry average is way up there, but at the end of the day, if they put him in and start him for a game, he would fare worse than Saquon Barkley because this offensive line is playing like crap right now. Plain and simple. Miss me with the whole Tank Bigsby nonsense.
So not even, I don't think anyone's saying featured back by any means.
I want to see him run. I just want to see it.
Just give him the football occasionally.
I just want to see.
Go down to the NovaCare Center. During the week, you can see Tank Bigsby run all you want to.
And while you're down there,
Bigsby ain't doing nothing during the game.
While you're down there, fire Kevin Patullo. But no, in all seriousness, though,
fire everybody.
You mentioned it on pregame, Seth. Einstein's definition of insanity, doing the same thing and expecting a different result. This offensive line has been a problem all year long. We've said it many times. You got an O-line problem. You got an everything problem on offense. But something has to change. And we've even talked about how Saquon Barkley just doesn't look as healthy as he had in the past. And he comes out after the Cowboys game, tells you how healthy he is. Then all of a sudden he pops up with a groin injury on the injury report. Something has to change offensively.
I would implore you to look at the runs that Saquon Barkley is successful with, and then look at him run the ball, and then tell me that he's not what he should be. Okay, you guys got to understand. When you watch these two guys rush the ball for the Bears today, how many times did they get hit in the backfield? Tell me.
Clean jerseys.
How many times did they get hit in the backfield before they even got to the line of scrimmage? Okay? 75% of the time when Saquon Barkley gets the ball, he is hit in the backfield.
Or at the line.
So if you consider that, think about if you got Tank Bigsby running these same plays under ordinary situations, you think that he's going to fare any better? Like, people like blinded and so you're not watching the game, with clear eyes. You're looking statistically at what he's done and thinking that he's going to be better. He's not going to be better with this offensive line until they start blocking people and start dominating the line of scrimmage again. They're just not.
I wonder if there's a case, too, where sometimes Saquon tips. Defenders talk about when you study running backs, you can look at how they set at the line of scrimmage sometimes, like how they plant their feet. If they plant their feet straight, plant their feet to the outside. And sometimes they can tip the backs, just like pitchers, just like hitters, will tip something off. I wonder if that's the case with him. Now, the line is the problem. Now, we know the line is the problem. That's the main problem with this offense. But I want to see more. I'm not saying I don't want to see Tank Bigsby as a feature back. I don't want to ever see Tank Bigsby get more carries than Saquon. But what I would like to see is a different change of pace. Even Will Shipley, a change of pace. Rotate him in more. You look at what the teams, the Green Bay, the Dallases, the Bears, they rotate backs in and out. Just a change of pace, some different look. Because what they're doing right now, I'm sitting here watching them when the Eagles go to the line of scrimmage. I can tell you when they're running the football or not. I can tell you.
Well, and therein lies the problem. So then we get back to the coaching side of it, okay? Because we're so predictable in what we're doing. It's like, let me give you a glimpse, okay? Come out on first down. We throw the ball on first down, it's incomplete.
Right.
95% of the time we come back and we run the ball on second down.
Yep.
Now we're in 3rd and 8, 3rd and 9, okay? If you make a decision to throw the ball on first down and you get nothing and you ain't been running the ball all season long, well, what the hell makes you think you're going to run it on second down and get any yards? If you commit to throw the ball on first down, you committed to throw it the next 3 damn downs. You are. Because they can't run the ball worth a damn. So now you keep putting your quarterback and your offense in these awful positions because of your stubborn nature. Oh, we threw it on first down. Let's see if we can get 5 to get half of it on second down. No, you're not, because the other teams do it the other way around. They get run it on first down. They get 2 or 3 yards on first down. They pass it on second down to try to get half of that to get third and manageable. And then we can't understand why the worst damn team in the National Football League damn near on third down. The coaches coach and they call plays ass backwards.
Bailey, that was a good first one. What else do you have for us?
Well, just a couple weeks ago, we were talking about this team as a potential Super Bowl contender. After today's performance, where do you stand with this team now in that conversation?
I'll go first. I'm heated right now But what I'm gonna tell you is I'm not gonna let y'all, get my blood pressure raised. I'm not gonna let y'all get my blood pressure raised moving forward, and I'm not gonna get my expectations up. Okay, I have no expectations for this team to do anything when you talking Super Bowl this year. As a matter of fact, when it comes to Super Bowl and the Philadelphia Eagles, the rest of the 2025-26 season, you ain't gonna hear me say a damn word about it ever again. Because there's not a single person out there other than a fanboy of the Philadelphia Eagles that can realistically look at what they've seen over 13 weeks and even mumble the word Super Bowl in their lips. Okay?
We got a lot of fanboys.
I don't even care.
We got a lot of fanboys.
They're delusional.
If
they look at this team and think this team is going to the Super Bowl, okay? So I'm going to try to rein it back in the coming weeks. Rein back my expectations. I guess I'm feeling some type of way today. I'm feeling this way because I expected for them to come out and right the ship from last week, to not go out and do the same thing that they did last week, to have some damn pride about themselves, about the uniform that they wear, about the city that they play for. And they came out and laid down and played like damn dogs today. So if they don't give a damn, guess what? I don't give a damn no more.
I will stick by what I said on the pregame show when we discussed the Eagles, a Super Bowl team. I said they are a playoff team, but I don't think they'll go deep in the playoffs. And when I'm looking at some of the other teams that are starting to get hot right now, my hopes of this team going deep in the playoffs is less and less each week. And like I said, depending on what they do when they go out to the West Coast in like 10 days from now, if you ask me the same question, I don't even know if they're a playoff team at that point, to be honest with you. I don't know. We
were saying at 8-2 that there were wild similarities between this team and the 2023 team. But now this was in the walk-up. This was 8-2 we were talking about this team when they weren't controlling games. They were playing 2 quarters per game. The obvious problem with that is there's 4, and the offense was sputtering. Every once in a while, the defense would let you down as well. Jalen Hurts would miss somebody, bad play call, penalties, not being focused, which still befuddles me through the season so far, to use your word, Seth, befuddled. This team constantly talks about a lack of focus, not being focused, and all that. How are you coming off a Super Bowl season and now 1.8-2? Now you're looking at other teams in your division like the Dallas Cowboys getting hot teams throughout the NFC right now, and you still have trouble pulling focus for a nationally televised game against Chicago Bears, which, by the way, I know the players aren't concerned with this. You're a 7-point favorite to win the game, and they blow your doors off. Inexcusable as far as I'm concerned. So yeah, Super Bowl, forget it. Not this team ain't competing for a Super Bowl unless they make significant changes to this team.
Mark, how are they going to make significant changes?
What changes?
Well, no, they're not going to make significant changes.
I'm just saying.
Right. So, okay, is someone going to grab their quarterback and say to Jalen Hurts, you have Dallas Goedert wide open down the field. Go through your progressions. Don't panic. Don't make the pre-snap read and then commit to it. You actually read the defense, go through the progressions like we saw him do last year. It's not there for him. And when he actually has time to throw, he's still rushing his throws.
As much as I want Jalen Hurts to succeed, okay, I have to come to the reality, okay, that potentially this is as good as he may get, because when I look at really good quarterbacks, D-Gun, I've said this a long time. Like, if you make the kind of mistakes against the Philadelphia Eagles that the Chicago Bears made against the Philadelphia Eagles, and like a guy like Tom Brady was standing in the backfield, he would have shredded this team.
That's right.
To like lettuce. You understand what I'm saying? Because when you play quarterback, it's an incumbent upon you to understand and know where every player is on the field in every passing, situation. Okay, you know where your outlet is. You know where the routes are supposed to be hidden. Like, you know where AJ is supposed to be and where Devontae's supposed to be, and you understand the numbers. Okay, so pre-snap, you're trying to figure out, okay, what coverage they're in single high. So if they get one extra guy over here, that means somebody's got to be open over here. So when you make a mistake and leave a guy wide open, the good quarterbacks find him. They don't miss that. They find him 9 times out of 10, even if their progression starts over here. The problem with Jalen is the same thing that plagued them last week. On 3rd and 2, he had AJ on the slant. AJ got jammed up. As a matter of fact, AJ got jammed twice. And instead of Jalen going, instead of Jalen going 1, 2, 3, Jalen went 1, 2, and by the time he got back to 3 on Dallas, it was too late. The play was over. Okay? until he starts getting through his progressions that way, this offense is going to struggle. And yeah, he's going to make some plays like he did tonight here and there, because if the first read is open, he'll let it go. But if the first read ain't open, now he pulls the ball down, he starts patting it, he's trying to get out of the pocket, and instead of once you get out of the pocket, kind of squaring up and waiting for guys to come back to you, he keeps running to the sideline. And every time he runs to the sideline, the field just shrinks more and more and more and more and more to where he's like 5 yards from the sideline, and the only thing that he's got is the guy who's standing on the sideline right there who can come back to the ball. I just don't understand it. I don't understand why they don't make where are the plays where we roll Jalen out of the pocket? I saw a couple of RPOs where he actually faked and threw the ball today. Where's more of that stuff? Like there's so many components to this offense that's missing. And it's not operating the way it needs to operate. And instead of putting those back in there, I understand why they do it. They're afraid to get Jalen Hurts. They don't want to run the RPOs. They don't want to run the read option stuff. Why? Because Jalen has been hurt every single year he's been here towards the end of the year where he's missed 2 or 3 games. And they're trying to prevent that. Okay? But in order for this offense to work, they must run the RPOs. They must run the read option. I'm not saying they got to run it every down, but you got to do enough of it to keep the defenses honest. And once you keep them honest, where's your plays off of that? You can get to it. You can get out of it. You can implement it along the way, D-Gun. But if I'm studying this team, I'm calling out their plays every damn down. Because no matter how they line up and where they line up, I know you can tell exactly what they want to do.
What you want, they haven't done it much up to this point. I don't think they're going to do it this season. I think they're going to still go to course in terms of how they run their plays. Mark, what you were talking about a moment ago, about Jalen missing wide receivers, we've been talking about that since game 1. And it hasn't changed. Why? It hasn't changed one iota. They sit there, they go over the film like every other team in the National Football League. You sit down, you go over the films, you discuss this, you discuss how you're going through your progressions, you discuss if option 1's not open, go to option 2 or 3, and we're still talking about the same problems week 13 that we talked about week 1. There's some things that are just not going to change, and the frustrations are going to continue to build from now until that last game of the season.
D-Gun, okay.
Last game of the season.
So would you all guys agree with me, okay, that this has been the same offense that Jalen's run since the time Nick Sirianni's got here?
Yep.
So how much of it's changed?
He's had a different coordinator, 3 years in a row?
Yeah,
now?
But every single coordinator he's had.
I get that.
Every single coordinator he's had has grown up in this offense.
I get that.
So the offense hasn't changed in 5 years.
No,
right?
the basic concept of the offense has not changed in 5 years. But Seth, as you know, whether it's an OC or DC, they all want to come in and put their little niche on it, which should not do anything to deviate from the overall structure of the offense.
I understand.
But for whatever reason, we saw it last year. They took the ball out of Jalen's hand and defined the running game as their bread and butter to get to the Super Bowl. And then all of a sudden, Kansas City took the run away from it. Jalen had a magnificent game in the Super Bowl and got that MVP. We look at what they're doing this year. They came out of the gate. They took the ball out of Jalen's hands. They didn't want him throwing the ball 30, 35 times a game. And now the running game is no help. The offensive line is no help. They have nowhere to go. They have nowhere to go from this point on.
But my point is,
yes.
my point and my question is, okay, if you've been running the same playbook for 5 years,
yes,
okay, you should know that playbook.
Master it.
You should know it like the back of your hand.
Yes.
Okay. It seems to me like he doesn't have the full grasp of this offense and this playbook the way that he should. Like, when I played for Buddy, our playbook was that thick, okay? Our game plan each week was about that thick. But I can remember calling the defense one time, and we were in nickel, and I called the defenses in nickel and dime. So I called the defense, he called a blitz that we hadn't run since training camp, okay? And when I called it the first time, you call it twice. Called the defense, and when I looked at guys, some guys was like this, some guys was like that. So before I even called it the second time, I called timeout. I called timeout, and I'm walking to the sideline. And by the time I get to the numbers, Buddy is just MFing me all up. I'm like, Coach, I called timeout because when I called it, some of the guys had to look like they didn't know what the heck I was talking about because it ain't in the game plan this week. we get in the meeting on Monday morning, and Buddy goes, you know, this might be the game plan from week to week. He said, but y'all dumb, y'all responsible for all of this, because I might call it at any time. Even though this is the game plan, you're responsible for all of this at all times, okay? So I knew all of that by my third year in the league. If we call a blitz and it didn't get home, before I saw the film on Monday, I could probably tell you why it didn't work. I knew where every guy along the line and what coverage they were in on the backside. You mean to tell me a quarterback making $50 million a year, $50 million a year, he can't tell you where everybody on every pass play, on every play, with every protection, where everything is? Come on, man.
Well, based on what we've seen on the football field, I'd have to answer definitively no, because we've been talking about this for weeks. See, I agree with you 100%. As a matter of fact, he should help construct the playbook from memory. If coach said, I want you to build this playbook from scratch, well, look at the playbook, a quarterback who's been in the system 4 or 5 years should be able to construct his own playbook. Am I right or wrong?
No, absolutely.
And we're sitting here talking about, as well as other media outlets, why can't this man run the playbook? So what does that tell you?
Well, some of it, too, is we talked about, in the pregame, that if this is Jalen's offense, it's been, constructed for him to fit his strengths and to highlight his strengths and the things that he likes. And this is why I'm not a big fan of, the quarterback having the entire say. Well, it's okay for an offensive coach to say we're going to build and structure our offense around the strengths of our quarterback. But that has to be broad, okay? There are some things that Jalen may be strong at and good at, but that doesn't mean that the things that he don't like and the things that he's not good at, that you don't work on those things. Because like I said before, there may come a point in time in the game where the things that he doesn't like and the things that he's not strong at, that he's going to have to execute those things in order for your playbook to work. Because if this is the side of the playbook that you like and the defense figures it out, you're going to have to put in some plays over here on this side of the playbook that the defense, that the quarterback doesn't like, that may work.
Every week, there should be a different play where we sit here after a game and say, I've never seen that play before. Other teams do them. Plays of deception, plays of misdirection, plays of trickery. They ran a jet sweep today, didn't they? I was shocked. I was shocked they ran it. Hadn't seen
work.
That. Huh?
It didn't work.
I know, but at least they tried.
Well,
I ain't seen it.
They run the Slim Reaper on the jet sweep before, but not a whole lot.
No, that's what I'm saying.
It works on us.
Why can't we try some, double, triple reverses, flea flickers?
It works on our defense.
Sure it does.
Like
we're supposed to have a stout defense.
I've never seen so many defensive ends, standing up watching a guy come in motion and the quarterback hand it off and he just run right by him like he don't see him. I mean that today's football just like blows my mind, because back in my day, if I'm on the edge of the line of scrimmage, okay, and they send a guy in motion, first of all, I see him coming. Second of all, I'm contained. So if I'm watching him coming out of my peripheral vision and the quarterback want to hand it off to him, man, they might as well bring the ambulance down the tunnel right now.
What am I to say?
Doesn't Bailey have more questions?
Yes, she does. She has one more, as a matter of fact. Bailey, I know we got one more. Great patience here by Bailey, reading the coverage and all that. Bailey, what do you got?
Well, everything you just said, the fans seem to agree in the chat. But, fans they want to forget about this game, and they're looking ahead to the Chargers game and the challenges that this team will face. In your perspective, what is going to be the biggest hurdle?
There's a lot of hurdles. I'm measuring all the hurdles right now in my head, because you're talking about still penalties being an issue. Seth made the point earlier. First drive of the game, first possession of the game, second play of the game, I think it was. A.J. Brown gets the false start. Then we're talking about penalties on Tyler Steen. We're talking about offensive pass. We're just talking about all these problems. Offensive line isn't getting any healthier, unfortunately. Saquon Barkley isn't affected. That hasn't looked any better. Jalen looks like he has regressed this year. Time and time again, and obviously dealing with Kevin Patullo as your offensive coordinator, and then your defense staying on the field for 40 minutes in this game. biggest hurdle is kind of hard to identify, but in the words of Nick Sirianni, they're not into looking at blame. They're into finding solutions, which I can't say enough. We hope to hear more from Nick Sirianni a little bit later from Lincoln Financial Field, as well as Jalen Hurts. Bailey Livzio, social media manager, social media correspondent, we appreciate you as always. We'll be back after this on the Verizon postgame show.
Picture this. You play big-time college football, you get some NIL money. You get drafted in the NFL, and you start making real big money. However, you're 23 years old and you don't have any credit. Here at Mid-Penn Bank, we're helping these athletes establish credit through secured credit cards and other strategies that can help develop their credit now, so as they continue to make money, they can have long-term success financially.
At Revolution X, we know that fortunes are made in times of uncertainty. Are you selling your investment real estate? Are you interested in deferring your tax with a 1031 exchange? At RevX, we're experts in 1031 exchange planning and the use of passive real estate options using DSTs. Not in the midst of an exchange and want to invest in real estate but don't know where to start? Revolution X has institutional grade real estate options for any size investor right now. Set up a consultation at RevXWealth.com. RevX, defer the tax, maximize the gain.
Gentlemen, are you ready for a wardrobe update? Introducing Divine Nine's Custom Menswear, your clothier for truly unique, custom-made threads. With Divine Nine, you can design your own one-of-a-kind suit, jacket, slacks, shirts, golf pants, and shorts, perfectly handcrafted by our skilled artisans who will bring your vision to life. Prepare to stand out from the crowd with Divine Nine's Custom Clothier, official clothier of Seth Joyner. Custom clothing made for you.
Pride, passion, and persistence. These are the values that drive us all at Ron Jaworski Golf. We strive to deliver outstanding conditions as well as playability for golfers of all ages and abilities. Our championship golf courses offer a variety of challenges, from a link-style walk along the river to an escape into the pines and everything in between. My team at Ron Jaworski Golf is committed to delivering memorable experiences every single day. See all we do at ronjaworskigolf.com.
This upcoming segment is brought to you by Recovery Unplugged. We're going to jump in now to the unfortunate drive of the game, and that's the drive that put the Chicago Bears up 17-9 on the Philadelphia Eagles. Here's how it played out on the Verizon drive of the game. From the 4:33 mark in the third quarter to the 12:49 mark of the fourth quarter, it was a 10-9 game, but 12 plays, 87 yards later, it was capped off by a Kyle Monangai touchdown, and the Eagles found themselves down 17-9 at that point. That's what put really a cap on this one, is what it felt like for the Chicago Bears to be able to eliminate or beat the Philadelphia Eagles today. I want to go back to something you were talking about a second ago here, Seth, and that was what's changed really in this offense. And you talk about who's calling plays, talk about Jalen Hurts, what's changed. You could easily make the argument here that this is the most this offense has been Jalen Hurts' offense in his entire tenure as the Philadelphia Eagles starting quarterback. Because he has a first-year play caller that essentially he has seniority over. He can check out of plays at the line of scrimmage. You even heard earlier in the week Kevin Patullo talk about that, how everything, they have other plays built into it. This is basic football. And Jalen will check to the play that he feels, certainly will have the most success, but also the one he feels comfortable with running. And then a common theme we've seen throughout this year, he'll make that decision, Seth, pre-snap, and you've talked about it, and then just lock in on that receiver. And that, unfortunately, does not work out well for this Eagles offense. Do you agree it's more of Jalen Hurts' offense right now than we have really ever seen it?
I think it's been his offense, though. Because, I mean, in the Super Bowl, and what people don't realize when you go back to the Super Bowl and you really think about, like that 46-yard touchdown pass to Devontae that just slammed the door on the Super Bowl, that was Jalen's check at the line of scrimmage. So he's been checking. I think what they need to do, D-Gun, what I would love to see them do more of, is go to hurry up. Because they seem to operate better with tempo rather than huddling up every play. Just go hurry up, and give Jalen an opportunity to operate from the line of scrimmage. If you're going to run his plays and it's his playbook and you putting in there what he likes, don't you think if he spent time with the OC and the head coach throughout the week that he knows or got an idea of, what would work in certain situations. If you've given him control, he asked for control over protections last year. You gave it to him. Now him and Cam Jurgens, I'm pretty sure they work in unison to get in the right protections. And, he probably has the last say. But if you're going to do that, then give him control at the offensive line, at the line of scrimmage, and let him call plays on the fly out of hurry up and out of tempo.
An hour after the game now, Nick Sirianni is addressing the media. Let's hear what he has to say.
Job, and that's going to be starting with us as coaches, starting with me as a coach, finding solutions to getting the offense going, and so I'll put that on us as a staff and put that on me most individually there to help get this thing pointed in the right direction. But yeah, no, I still stay with that. You can't. It's the greatest team sport there is, and it's never about one person. We all have to look internally and all have to get better, and coaches and players.
If you return 10 or 11 starters, you guys spend more money on that than NFL. Why is it?
Yeah, if I wish I could tell you this is exactly what it is, and this is hard. It's not easy to be successful, stay successful. So we have to we have to do it collectively. We have to do it collectively as a unit. Like, obviously, if I knew exactly what it was and everything that it was, then we'd have fixed it. But right now, we're still searching and we're still looking, and a lot of football left to play. 8-4 right now, a lot of football left to play. And this weekend will be, an opportunity for us to find more answers and to figure things out as coaches, players being able to rest, to gear up for this last stretch of 5 games left. But obviously it hasn't been good enough. Coaching, playing, and we got to find answers. Again, I felt like just the entire, it was both units, offense, defense. Hats off to them. They played a good game. They coached a good game. They outcoached us. They outplayed us. And so that's obviously something that I need to go through and watch the tape, look through it. But to say, I don't want to, again, they ran for however many yards. We didn't run for many yards. We lost the turnover battle. We lost the explosive play battle. All those things are going to dictate the win and loss.
Typically, you pride yourself on having a very physical team. They ran for 281 today. What is the disconnect that you think happened there?
Yeah. Again, have to look at it. They did a really good job of kind of how they attacked and executing it. Hats off to them. But obviously we've won a lot of football games, being on the other end of that, and so we just got to get back to playing and coaching Eagles football.
Can you take us through the end of the first half there? You let 30 seconds or so run off the clock to the 2-minute warning. Normally we see you pushing for points.
We were still pushing for points. We had 3 timeouts, ball at the 38. We had plenty of time to go and score a touchdown and be the last ones with the football. So we got the 1 yard on the completion with 2:37 or whatever, and then took it to the 2-minute warning, and we were going on the ball after that.
It seems uncharacteristic of you to.
No, we would play that. That was pretty, that's normal to how we would play that at the end of a half. But we were still, again, when we got back to, getting it off a second down on the 2-minute warning, we would have been on the ball there and going.
If I could ask you, just to clarify what you said earlier about evaluating everything. So does that mean you are evaluating, like changing the play caller?
No, we're not changing the play caller. But we will evaluate everything, and that's what this weekend we'll have another little mini bye, and I think that's the, another short week, another short week that leads to a long weekend where we'll evaluate everything. But again, like I said, after that, it's never just about one person, right? You win as a team, you lose as a team, and you try to evaluate everything, win, lose, or draw, and get better from it.
What's Kevin doing to give you that confidence?
Yeah, again, I have confidence in the entire group. Again, I know it will keep coming back to Kevin, but again, if I thought it was one thing, then you make those changes. Obviously, it's a lot of different things, but I don't think it is Kevin. Now we all have a part in it. Kevin has a part of it. I have a part of it. All the coaches have a part of it. All the players have a part of it. Again, you win and lose as a team. It's never on one thing.
Saquon had 13 carries, 34 passes for Jalen on a windy night. Is that just a game flow thing?
Yeah, and then also how how the game goes at the end, where you're trying to get back in the game. We obviously had a lot of throws there at the end. I thought early on we had some good runs. We didn't have a ton of plays in the first half, but early on we had some good runs. But I think you can chalk that up. Again, we want to be balanced with how we attack, but we'll do whatever we need to do to try to win each and every game. Obviously, we didn't tonight, but I think a little bit of that was, some of the 2-minute stuff that we had there at the end of the game.
Is there a plan to get into Tank at some point? He'd obviously had that one really big game, and he has not seen the field as much.
Yeah, he's still always going to be the guy that comes in for Saquon, and like I said, we want to get Saquon more than 13 carries also. But we have a lot of confidence in him when he goes into the football game to make plays, and we'll continue to roll the way we're rolling with it. And but yeah, when he goes in, he's had some really good plays. But yeah, we'll continue to roll. We want to make sure we get Saquon the football because we know how explosive he can be when he has the football.
What were the biggest issues with the run defense tonight?
I'm sorry.
The biggest issues with the run defense.
Yeah, it's a lot of different things. So you're gonna look and say, first of all, did we do the things we needed to do as coaches to help put them in positions? And then it's going to be about block destruction, tackling, getting how we get off the blocks, how we tackle. Have to look at that. Felt like Swift had a couple opportunities or had a couple of plays that he got some extra yards with some yards after making some guys miss. He's an electric back. But again, I'll have to look at exactly what all of it that went down, but I know that when you're giving up that many yards, again, everybody has a hand in that. So, how with where we are as far as, how where we're putting guys on defense, but then also how we block destruct and how we, take on blocks and how we tackle.
Nick Sirianni addressing the media at Lincoln Financial Field following their 24-15 loss to the Chicago Bears. We'll react to that and more when we return on the Verizon postgame show.
There's a number on the screen.
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 There is a number on the screen.
There's a number on the screen.
There's a number on the screen. There's a number on the screen.
Business owners love the path of least resistance. So when it comes to their banking, that's where we want to help them, whether they're working on their consumer lending, their wealth, their commercial lending, their insurance. Our focus is to help plan holistically to ensure financial success both in the business and the owner's personal lives. So reach out to one of our professionals today.
Gentlemen, are you ready for a wardrobe update? Introducing Divine Nine's Custom Menswear, your clothier for truly unique, custom-made threads. With Divine Nine, you can design your own one-of-a-kind suit, jacket, slacks, shirts, golf pants, and shorts, perfectly handcrafted by our skilled artisans who will bring your vision to life. Prepare to stand out from the crowd with Divine Nine's Custom Clothier, official clothier of Seth Joyner. Custom clothing made for you.
This holiday, Verizon's got the craziest deal ever with iPhones.
Get the powerful new iPhone 17, iPad, and Apple Watch, all for $0. No trade-in needed on any plan.
This upcoming segment is brought to you by Weber Display and Packaging. Jalen Hurts set to address the media coming up shortly. An hour, Derek Gunn, it took for that news conference with Nick Sirianni. That is, I think, a record time. So they were getting something straight there, but apparently no change of play caller. Not that anybody is surprised by that, but if there was one definitive statement made after evaluating everything over the next mini bye week that they have, no change will be made at play caller, gentlemen.
He answered that question real quick. And since this game ended, speculation across social media and post-game shows like ours have been running amok. Do you make a change somehow? And he squashed that real quick. For better or worse, he squashed that notion real quick. So he's sticking to his guns, and he's sticking to the guy he hired to come in here. Now, I guarantee you, they're going to, like they do every week, go over this stuff behind closed doors, discuss what they need to do. This is on both of them now. This is not just a Patullo thing. This is both of them. This is Nick Sirianni's offense that Patullo's running. So this is both of them to fix this. They've been talking about fixing this forever.
All right.
It hasn't been fixed yet.
You guys have obviously been around this team quite a long time.
Yeah.
We all remember Doug Peterson saying, I think it was Mike Groh, their wide receivers coach at the time, and I forget who else. They'll be back. The next day they were fired. Okay, that was at the end of the season. That certainly wasn't in season. Does Jeffrey Lurie, Seth, do you think, step in here and say, well, let me tell you what's going to happen. You got to make some change. Now, I'm not saying that they're going to fire. They didn't even fire Sean Desai. They moved him upstairs, and they brought in Matt Patricia, who's obviously an experienced defensive play caller.
And that didn't work.
It did not work.
No.
But do you stick with what they're doing now, or does Jeffrey Lurie step in and make a change?
Well, first of all, the acknowledgement that, we're not making a change. If you're not going to make a change, then we can expect more of what we've seen over the last, 13 weeks. Because if you haven't fixed it up to this point, there's no reason to believe he's going to be able to fix it in the next, 6 weeks, 5 weeks? Okay? So as fans, as media, we should expect for the offense to continue to look this way because he's not going to make any changes. To answer your question, Mark, I don't think Jeffrey and Howie step into this thing plays its way out, throughout the season. It's like I said, whatever changes and whatever things they need to, whatever adjustments they need to make personnel-wise, as far as the staff is concerned or the roster is concerned, those things won't take place until, the offseason. So that's why I kept saying, this team is what it is. It's not going to change. It's not going to get better. It can't. The only way it's going to get better is that the players have a change of attitude, that they get sick and tired of being sick and tired of getting their ass kicked, losing personal battles, not doing their jobs, and stepping up and playing the game with an elevated level of pride. Until that happens, nothing else is going to change because they have not only a play calling problem, but they have a play execution problem, And when you have a problem executing plays that you have in your book, then you might as well forget the rest of it, So what changes are we expecting? Nick's already said we're not making any coaching changes whatsoever. We're not making a change at play caller, okay? So nobody's getting fired. I think that the extenuating circumstances of the Sean Desai, Matt Patricia issue was that the defensive locker room was divided. You had Desai guys and you had Patricia guys that were that over here on the Patricia side felt like what Desai was doing, wasn't the right move. And then once that kind of rhetoric gets up, to the GM and the owner, then something has to happen because that move was not a Nick Sirianni move. That was a Howie Roseman, Jeffrey Lurie move to move Sean Desai to the booth and hand the reins to Matt Patricia. And I said in that instance, in that moment, right then and there, that was the worst thing that they could have ever did because it was Sean Desai's defense. Although they brought Matt Patricia in to be an advisor, it was still Sean Desai's defense. That's not a defense that mirrored anything that looked anything like anything that Matt Patricia had run before. So therein lies the problem. The problem is even D-Gun, if they make a change, the scheme itself is not going to change because the playbook at this point in time is what it is. Those type of changes are reserved for the offseason.
How is it that most head coaches have playbooks this thick, but we keep seeing the same plays run over and over each week? There's no imagination. There is no creativity. There's no deviation from what we see. Think about this. Every game we watch from an offensive perspective every week, it's the same plays. It's the exact same plays. You watch other teams, they evolve. Even the teams with losing records will try something different just to get a spark. This team thinks they can impose their will on people. Nobody is afraid of the Philadelphia Eagles, man. We know this going into the season. Every week for 17 games was the opposition's Super Bowl. Okay? Most of them failed at the attempt. Now, those teams are starting to succeed, and you're still running the same scheme. You have to do something to deviate from the norm. And I don't know what it is. I want to see a wildcat, something, anything.
Right.
But just something different than what we have to watch week in and week out, because what we're doing now is spiraling downward, man. This thing's out of control, going in the wrong direction.
Well, I would say this, okay? There's an old biblical axiom that says pride comes before the fall.
Before the fall, yes.
Okay? And we've seen this organization after the first Super Bowl get a little prideful, get a little ego-filled, you know. So when you're unwilling to make changes, a lot of times that involves a little bit of ego, a little bit of pride, you know. And you have to be willing to look yourself in the mirror and admit that what you're doing is not working. Now, I'm sure from the coach's standpoint, they look at it like, well, the players aren't executing what we're running, okay? The offensive line's not blocking. Receivers are dropping balls. You know, quarterbacks not making the throws. Like, I'm pretty sure, like, you see Jalen miss Devontae on that little route that probably would have been a touchdown. So I'm pretty sure the coaches are looking at that and they're saying, well, we had the right damn play call. You know, we did everything right except for deliver the pass and make the completion, you know. And I think sometimes as a coaching staff, you can get caught up in looking at the situation and believing that, you know what, because we had the right thing call and there was a blocking breakdown, or Jalen didn't have time to throw the ball, he had a guy open, he was winding up the throw and got his arm hit or got the ball tipped. So we had the right thing call, you know, but sometimes it's deeper than that. Sometimes it's bigger than that, you know. Sometimes you got to get outside yourself, you know, and look at things from a different perspective. I don't see this coaching staff doing that. I honestly believe that when you get them behind closed doors, because I've had enough friends that have coached in the National Football League and on the collegiate level, and when they're having coaches meeting and scout meetings and all of those things, the things that they talk about and how they talk about players in those meetings are markedly different than how they, you know, project those players on the public level. I know this to be factual because I've had friends that have been GMs, assistant GMs, head of scouting, on scouting, been coaches, assistant coaches, you know, and I've heard guys say, you know, that they were physically sick by the way that, you know, the organization talked about a player, but then came out in public and made it seem like that player was the best thing since sliced bread, you know. So there's layers to this thing, people. You think that, you know, that Nick's not making the change because he doesn't think so. Sometimes coaches don't make changes because in their minds, they believe that the changes are unwarranted. And when you're coming off a Super Bowl, there's a certain elevation of your pride, certain elevation of your confidence, certain elevation of your ego. That's not just coaching. That goes, you know, all the way up the chain. You remember Howie Roseman on the sideline? Somebody was giving him the business after the first Super Bowl. What the F you talking about? I just brought you ungrateful so-and-so's a Super Bowl. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Just saying.
So I think we've done a good job of identifying problems. But the fact is this Eagles team can't correct the problems. So how are you supposed to inspire confidence in a fan base that I know just experienced the Super Bowl championship? That seems like a million years ago now. But also the season before that witnessed a historic collapse in the NFL with how the Eagles ended their 2023 season. And that year they did try something that I think most people, myself included, would call desperate, essentially firing your defensive play caller in favor of Matt Patricia. Did they then learn from that, if you want to call it mistake, and not compound the problem by making any significant change? Because, look, I see you in the chat talking about Tanner McKee and all that stuff. Talking about changes, that ain't happening either.
No.
So do we just ride this horrid wave till the end of the season and cross our fingers?
Mark, those are just people who have always hated Jalen and have waited for him to not succeed. The Wentz sympathizers, you understand what I'm saying?
Yes.
That still can't get over the fact that Wentz didn't want to compete, and that's why they had to trade his ass up out of here. Okay, now. Can Tanner McKee throw the ball? Absolutely. He potentially might be a better passer of the football than Jalen, but it's all the other things that go along with it, okay? So you're not moving off of your $50 million quarterback to bring in, your backup quarterback. I'm pretty sure there are those in the organization that don't see Jalen as the problem with the offense. And just like at the other end of the spectrum, D-Gun, there are people that probably believe that he is the issue and the problem. That's for all of them to figure out and work out. But my biggest thing is, for all the great things that Howie did this past offseason, fans should be grateful for the Super Bowl championship. The moves that he made to try to replenish the defense. The things that he gave Vic Fangio, even at the trade deadline, to help improve the defense. But I'm going to tell y'all something right now. The Dallas Cowboys are coming. The Dallas Cowboys are coming. Beyond this year, this conference, this division, I should say, is not going to continue to look the way that it's looked. They got 2 wide receivers, a running back, a quarterback that, in my opinion, is one of first or second in the MVP balloting right now, that's playing lights out. They got a defense that, when they're healthy, they're fast, they're aggressive, they're physical.
And they've made additions to it.
And they're going to continue to make additions to it. And you look at the Washington Commanders, down year because of injuries to the quarterback, so on and so forth. This division is not going to continue to look like this. So Howie's got some more magic to work this offseason to keep us on pace. If I'm Howie, I'm going to spend a first or second round draft pick on another corner. As crazy as that sounds, okay, you can't bandage that position. We got Jalen Hurts coming on, so I'm gonna shut that down for a minute.
Let's go to Jalen Hurts now at the link.
Jalen, in your opinion, why do you think the offense is having a hard time finding that consistency and doing things for long stretches?
Combination of a lot of things. Ultimately, you look inward first, and I see it as how the flow of things have gone for us this year, and being practical about that. I can't turn the ball over. So that's the ultimate goal, is go out there and find a way to win, and that's been a direct correlation with success for us, being able to protect the ball. And so that really, really killed us.
What happened on the interception?
It's really escaping the pocket. I saw Kevin coming over, and I knew there was a chance he was going to be able to make a play on the ball. Just was trying to give him a chance and throw it to the sideline where AJ could try and go make a play on it. And I wasn't able to connect with him.
On the fumble, did you think your progress was stopped?
I was hoping it would stop, but it wasn't. Kind of similar to the New York game, just didn't blow the whistle as soon, and so that's not to point the finger at anyone else. I mean, I got to hold on to the ball. Definitely presents itself as an issue, and it always has. It's just never gotten us. And so today it got us, and it's something that we and I need to tighten up.
On that play, you mean it presents itself as an issue on that particular play?
It's been like that for a very long time, yeah.
You started to figure out that play?
Yes, it's becoming tougher and tougher, ultimately. But, again, me holding on to the ball, that's something I can control.
When you guys did have success offensively, it seemed like tempo was involved on the one big drive and also late. What about that you can't go tempo all the time. What about that can translate to when you're not.
Yeah. Well, you're almost imposing your will on the defense, and you're in attack mode. And so I think aggressiveness looks different. It doesn't mean taking a shot every play. It doesn't mean throwing the ball down the field or doing the extreme things. It just means having an identity and sitting in that identity and going out there and living in that.
On the early third down slant to Devontae, was that a play you checked to, and then why did you guys not hook up there? No,
not a check. Was a two guys on two different pages, and that's a bit of the issues that we've kind of been having. We weren't detailed enough in that. I wasn't detailed enough in instructing him what to do as we prepared and making myself clear on that. And so, I'm trying to find as many particulars as I can when it comes to the level of execution we have, and that's a group effort that has to be there.
Jalen, is it a concern that it's week 13 and some of these, not being on the same page, whether it's a play like that or a penalty, that this is happening at this stage in the season?
It's not ideal. It's not something that you desire. But going off of how the flow of this year is going, it's kind of similar to my response last week and saying no of any surprises of where we are. It's just a matter of picking ourselves up and continue to press forward and stay together in it and being committed to it.
What are you seeing in the run game? I mean, it seemed like Saquon had, some decent, decent gains and everything, but then, he only had, I think, 13 carries. Like, what was kind of going on there?
I know there's some that we all want back in the run game. Just from an overall execution standpoint, and I can't point to one thing and say this is what it is. Ultimately, we just got to take advantage of our opportunities when they are there. There can be a ton of different opinions on what or why, but when the opportunity is there, you have to strike. And we can't let the things get us, that have almost gotten us, and they're getting us now. And so we have to definitely regroup and reassess and find ways to eliminate the things that have held us back.
What do you think you and KP are now that you've been through this amount of games and you've had some ups, you've had some downs?
This is a conduit pressing of moving forward. That's it. Going out there and trying to find ways to move the offense down the field, put points on the board, and I'm always encouraging of sitting in an identity. And so we've all got work we've got to do.
Do you have confidence in Kevin right now as a play caller?
Yeah, I got confidence in him. I got confidence in this team. I got confidence in us when we're collaborative. I got a lot of confidence when we have an identity. So I think that's the first thing that we got to establish that we've talked about.
We saw more run-pass option plays.
Jalen Hurts addressing the media at Lincoln Financial Field. That's the first time that we have heard him say that he has confidence in his play caller. We'll break that down and talk to the good doctor as well when we come back on the Verizon postgame show.
Since 1893, Weber Display and Packaging has been Pennsylvania's leading manufacturer of corrugated packaging and displays. We're family-owned with 4 Philadelphia locations, 2 converting facilities, a warehouse, and a fulfillment center. Designed through delivery, we exceed customer needs. Weber Display and Packaging. Our core values drive everything we do. Come join our team.
Pride, passion, and persistence. These are the values that drive us all at Ron Jaworski Golf. We strive to deliver outstanding conditions as well as playability for golfers of all ages and abilities. Our championship golf courses offer a variety of challenges from a link-style walk along the river to an escape into the pines and everything in between. My team at Ron Jaworski Golf is committed to delivering memorable experiences every single day. See all we do at ronjaworskigolf.com.
At Revolution X, we know that fortunes are made in times of uncertainty. Are you selling your investment real estate? Are you interested in deferring your tax with a 1031 exchange? At RevX, we're experts in 1031 exchange planning and the use of passive real estate options using DSTs. Not in the midst of an exchange and want to invest in real estate but don't know where to start? Revolution X has institutional grade real estate options for any size investor right now. Set up a consultation at RevXWealth.com. RevX, defer the tax, maximize the gain.
This upcoming segment is brought to you by Mid-Penn Bank. Before we react to Jalen Hurts and what he had to say to the media there, and again, not a ringing endorsement, but at least an endorsement of his play caller, let's talk about some of the injuries in this one and what the Eagles are trying to fight through in the injury realm. Let's bring in the good doctor, Dr. Bruce Grossinger, right now. First, let's focus on a guy we didn't talk about too much last week. That's Drew Makuba, a foot fracture. Doctor, what's the rest of the season look like for him?
It doesn't look good. We saw the replay there, and Sidney Brown, I think he's a great tackler. He usually hits his own man maybe more times than the other team. So they both launched themselves at George Pickens, and Brown essentially hit the right foot and ankle of Andrew Makuba, and he caused a bad injury. It was an unstable bony fracture. It's either a fibula, which is non-weight bearing, and or a tibular fracture, tibula, and he's going to need surgery. So there's so much swelling that Makuba hasn't even had surgery yet. They're going to have to put metal plates, screws, and pins in there. And unfortunately, that's going to be a 6-month injury and a long rehab, non-weight bearing. So that happened at the very end of last game, and that's something we didn't cover. Unfortunately, I think it's relevant to bring it up now because you're missing, obviously, in the back end. You had Sidney Brown, of course, and in Blankenship. It seems like a lot of guys came back today, but they just didn't look great. Obviously, Blankenship came back, and Adoree Jackson came back. We thought he was in the concussion protocol. That's what they reported. But I want to recant that, Mark, and say that he actually was not in the protocol, was able to come back and play today.
All right, and then also Landon Dickerson, we know has been battling injury really throughout the year, as is Cam Jurgens, but what's the latest with Dickerson?
So Dickerson has a Liz Frank injury, a torn ligament. He's not going to need a surgery for that, but it looks to me as if he's going to be non-weight bearing, and they're going to keep him out for the rest of the regular season. And obviously, the way today went, it's unclear. Obviously they should make the playoffs, but I believe that Lane will be out until the playoffs at the earliest.
I just want to go back to this. Lane Johnson we're talking about, not
I'm sorry.
Landon.
I think I might have misspoke. So I didn't mean to confuse it. So Landon Dickerson, he's been battling injuries, knee and ankle, and I answered the question about Lane Johnson, of course.
Okay, so Lane Johnson we're talking about with the Liz Frank.
Indeed.
Okay, I'm just making sure we didn't have two Liz Franks in a matter of a couple of weeks.
No,
there. Right.
There's only one French foot injury.
Fair enough. Dr. Bruce Grosser, we appreciate you jumping on. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Jalen Hurts, I'll go to it again. For the first time you've heard him say, he had the opportunity earlier in the week to talk about confidence in Kevin Patullo as his offensive coordinator and play caller. He said he had confidence in him just now, and also he's got confidence in this team. What do you make of that, if anything, Seth?
Well, I'm going to let D. Gunn have that one because I made 2 notes here. He talked about him and Devontae being on the same page. That was the first thing. So this far into the season, you got a simple cover, hide route with Devontae running across the field. So you mean to tell me that in man coverage you thought Devontae was going to sit it down there? That's why you threw it behind him? So there was a miscommunication there? Anytime that you have man coverage, you keep running. If you got zone, you find the hole in the zone, you curl up and you sit down. Okay, so who was the miscommunication on? Was it AJ? Was it Devontae that didn't sit down, or was it you who thought he was going to sit down when he kept going? The other thing is he's talking about sitting in their identity. He mentioned that like 3 or 4 times. This team has no offensive identity because they can't run the ball well, and they're so inept at throwing the ball. Yeah, AJ had another big day, 11 catches for over 100 yards and a touchdown. He's happy. But let me tell you something. Unless they start spreading the ball around, this is going to be the issue. AJ will be happy because he's got 100 yards receiving and a touchdown the last 2 weeks back to back. But guess what? The Philadelphia Eagles are 0-2 the last 2 weeks. So I don't know what D-Gun. What the hell's their identity? You tell me. When they're playing the way they're playing, and he's talking about the identity of the team, sitting in our identity. You have no identity right now.
No, there's no identity with his offense. There's not one thing that we can hold on to that defines what this offense is. It has been a mystery for much of this season. It will continue to be a mystery going forward because what we want, we will not see in this offense. I'd like to see more plays of unpredictability. We haven't seen that. We're not going to see it. They run the same drag routes, the same slant routes. They hand the ball off out of the shotgun formation. They started using under center a little bit more. That worked for a while. Now that's not even working to be effective in a lot of ways.
Working? They don't even run it.
I know. They did for a while. There was one game they ran under center like 20, 21 plays. One game.
It was the Giants game.
Yeah,
because they did it about 5 times after the Vikings game, or in the Vikings game. Yeah.
And then you talk about the things that the quarterback likes to do. After that game, he said, contrary to what everybody thinks, I do like to operate from under the center. In the last 3 games, I don't think they've been under center, but maybe once or twice.
Shotgun, yeah.
I think they ran it 3 times against the Cowboys, and that was that. I asked you that during the game. Where's under center? And you're like, you got to be able to run the ball to go under center in this, unfortunately. Before we go any further, we are always in the spirit of giving here on the Seth Joyner Show YouTube channel. I understand we had another giveaway today. I believe this is the jersey.
Yeah, I think at Eagles ED won the Jalen Hurts jersey. Make sure you contact us at SethJoynerInfo@gmail.com, and we'll get that out to you this week. And to close out, our family, Joyner Family Foundation, our Holiday Adopt a Family in partnership with Legacy Plastic Surgery. There you see our QR code. We got 3 families that we're going to bless and wrap our arms around this holiday season. And we'd appreciate any donations, none too large, none too small. I see a couple of people donated, in show today. I want to thank everybody that has, and wish them a happy and Merry Christmas, and what else? Happy Kwanzaa, Happy Hanukkah, everything. I don't want to leave nobody out because you'll get your ass canceled in this day and age. So I want to make sure I got everybody. I want everybody to have a happy holidays, and thank you guys for helping us bless these families.
All right, let's get our final thoughts on this one. Derek Gunn, you want to take the first bite?
I am perplexed. I am flabbergasted. In a lot of ways, I'm speechless that this thing that seems to be going south instead of going north with the personnel that they have out on the football field. They have continuously made the mental gaffes. They talk about if they eliminated those, that things might be better. It still continues to plague them at the most inopportune time. The big play artists are not making enough big plays. And this offensive line that was once considered arguably the best in the business has been one of the worst in the business for much of this season. They have 5 games left, and I don't know where they're going to go, to be honest. I don't know where they're going to go. I don't even know at this point if they're going to win the division, to be honest, because Seth said it so accurately. The way Dallas is playing right now, Dallas is gaining steam, and this team is losing steam. And the last thing an Eagles fan wants to see is the Dallas Cowboys win this division. But that is a reality right now that could very well happen. So I don't know how to describe this team anymore, Mark, to believe. They've averaged, the last 4 games, they've averaged 15 points. With the firepower they have on this team, they're averaging 15 points a game in today's National Football League, which you can accidentally average 24, 25 points a game offensively nowadays. Even bad teams average 23, 24, 25 points a game. So I don't know what to make of this team, and all I can say is I can't wait to see what happens Monday night on the West Coast against the Chargers.
That's a mini bye week away from right now, unfortunately.
Right.
Now, remember the old GPSs, the old TomToms of the day used to say recalculating, got to reroute and all that stuff. This entire Eagles team feels like they need to recalculate and reroute. And the unfortunate part of all of this is I agree with you guys as we've talked about this really for the last couple of weeks. there's no major change that is coming. I don't see a major change coming with this Philadelphia Eagles team, unfortunately, and they're continuing to talk about the same mistakes over and over again, whether that be turnovers, whether that be the offensive line being banged up, whether that be no creativity in offensive play calling. The only thing that is going to save this Eagles team are the Eagles players. Jalen Hurts elevating his game to a level that we saw him play at last year. The offensive line maybe getting healthy and playing at a level that we saw him play at last year. But all that seems like a far cry. And going into this game, I thought that the Philadelphia Eagles were a playoff team, a team that was going to win a playoff game and then call it a season. Right now, they look like a team that is just going to make the playoffs. They do not, unfortunately, look like a team that is truly going to contend for a Super Bowl. That's how I feel after this game tonight. Seth, where are you at?
You know, I'm looking at the schedule here. They got the Chargers, the Raiders at home, at the Commanders, at the Bills, and they finish up with the Commanders at home. Realistically, I think that this team goes 3-2 the rest of the way, which means they would finish 11-6. I kind of get the feeling that where's Dallas at? Is Dallas at 6-5-1?
Yeah.
Okay, and how does the tiebreaker work with the tie? Because they do have that tie on their record. So if they get the 10 wins with the tie and the Eagles get the 10 wins with the tie, or 11, because it's almost impossible for them to get to, 11, isn't it?
Well,
like if they went out.
If Dallas wins out?
If they went out right now.
They would have, let's see, they're 5 games, so they would have 11 wins.
Okay, so if they have 11 wins and the Eagles have 11 wins, it all come down to the conference record.
Well, also you got to figure that tie game Dallas had also. That tie game could help or hurt them.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Does it hurt them or help them in that situation? I don't remember.
Well,
it helps because it's still better than a loss.
It's
obviously.
still better than a loss.
The Eagles got in one year they had a tie, remember?
So then essentially, if things play out the way that we think that they should play out, and I don't see Dallas losing again just the way that they're playing, if the Eagles go 3-2 the rest of the way, losing to the Chargers on Monday night, which I can almost assure you that they will, and they got to go to Buffalo too. Their minds might not be right for a Buffalo game. I can't see any way on God's green earth they lose to the Raiders and the Commanders twice, or even split with the Commanders for that matter. That being said, there's a good chance that they still win the division. My biggest issue is the lack of ability of this coaching staff to make changes. As a coaching staff, as a head coach, you're supposed to be the guy with the answers. For the second time in 3 years, we just heard Nick Sirianni say he didn't have any answers. Okay, he said it at the end of the 2023 season. He just pretty much stood at the podium, and he didn't say it in so many words to this time as he did in 2023. But what he said is, we just got to keep working and trying to, figure out, how to get better and how to fix. Well, guess what? If you only got 17 weeks in the season and you're in week 13 and you're still trying to figure it out, the odds say that you're not going to figure it out, that you have no answer. There is no remedy for what ails this football team right now, but better players and some better coaches in different positions that can help elevate, okay? If that's the case, then this football team is what it is, and there's not a whole lot of changing. So the question is, how deep can they go in the playoffs, structured the way that they're structured? To D Gunn's point, they may win one game in the playoff, but when you get down, to the top 4 teams in every conference, I don't think that they stand a snowball's chance of being able to elevate. And that's the most disappointing thing with all the talent that they have. And I'm sure that Vic Fangio is going to get back in the lab and he's going to figure out a way to get things going on the defensive side of the ball when you've got as many guys missing on the back end. You got new pieces that's got to fill in and got to get the job done. But when you just throw it all together, combine it all up, it's just not a good mixture. It doesn't look good. It doesn't feel right. The same way that 2013 didn't feel right all season long. And I was saying it from week 4 on, and people were like, oh, you're crazy. They're winning. They're 10-1. I'm like, it doesn't feel right. Something's off. I've been around the game long enough. And you can see when a team is making improvements, when they're taking the small baby steps, when they start to do the small things right. And I don't see any of that with this team. I hear the coach talking about it. I hear the players talking about it. But the proof isn't in the action. The proof isn't in the product of what we see on the field. They keep making the same mistakes over and over again. They keep missing blocks. They keep blowing assignments. They keep missing throws. They keep dropping balls. They can't run the football. On the defensive side of the ball, Vic tries to give him, the rope. So he plays them bend but don't break, And then you have a day like today where you just get run roughshod all over when you played the run halfway decent in prior weeks, So now I said the week before they took a step back against the Cowboys. Today they took 3 steps backwards to get dominated the way. So where do you go, And then you have to start dealing with the psyche of the team. That when you lose back-to-back games the way that you just lost them, in the manner that you lost them, to get dominated on both sides of the ball, what's the psychological effect that happens to your football team, and how do you get them to recover from that? I don't have the confidence in Nick Sirianni to be able to rally the troops and get them to stand up and get them to, get them above what they're experiencing right now. I just don't.
Well, with whatever way this direction this season goes, we will be here for you, breaking it all down along the way. For Dr. Bruce Grossinger, for Derek Gunn, Seth Joyner.
You forgot my name.
I was blanking on one name. I'm not going to say which one it is.
Kind of like the Eagles offense, blanking.
There we go. There we go. No, I wanted to say thank you to White Dog Cafe.
White Dog Cafe.
Don't forget Bailey.
Bailey Livesey, I was getting to.
What's wrong with you, man? You got that tryptophan killing you, man. Tryptophan got him all messed up.
Take 2. I want to thank everyone for joining us here on the Seth Joyner Show YouTube channel, as well as 6ABC for the good Dr. Bruce Grossinger, Bailey Livesey, Seth Joyner, Derek Gunn, Creative Outfit here, White Dog Cafe, and the Tinderbox, who hosted a watch party with us over there today while we enjoyed some fine cigars. Thank you very much. Make sure you guys like and subscribe to the Seth Joyner Show YouTube channel, and we'll catch you guys Monday night when the Eagles visit the Chargers.
Wow.